Call the member for Oodgeroo.
Madam Deputy Speaker, the 2032 Olympics and Paralympics being awarded to Brisbane and South East Queensland is a major achievement. It lifts Brisbane to another level on the world stage to rival the Olympic cities of Sydney and Melbourne. But hosting the Olympics in 2032 brings more than the well-deserved status to Brisbane and Queensland, but it brings prosperity, opportunity, big-ticket infrastructure items and increased global connectivity for our people and businesses. It is a natural thing for the LNP opposition to support this bill, as so many Conservatives at all three levels of government have been highly involved from the beginning of the successful bid. It is also important for me as a Redlands Coast MP to support the Olympics and Paralympics legislation, because Redlanders have a proud history in major sport. Redlanders want to participate in the Olympics, even events locally and elsewhere. Redlanders will travel on transport and roads and public transport and roads, and people will travel to and from the Redlands. And Redlands Coast small and family businesses and tourism operators will benefit from increased visitor numbers. Big-ticket infrastructure items like the Eastern Busway, Cleveland Line duplication, State Road duplications and other items that benefit the Redlands and that have been previously promised by successive state governments will need to be delivered and will be a lasting legacy of the Olympics for our region and our 150,000 people population for generations to come. Can I, in thinking of and addressing the issue of the board and the construction, the details of the board, note that other speakers have covered that in great detail in terms of one of the stated purposes of the bill. But can I just make the point and take a moment to congratulate Councillor Karen Williams, the Mayor of Redland City, for her appointment as the Lord Mayor Adrian Trina's nomination. She's an experienced South East Queensland Mayor who has earned her place, being involved in the drive for the Brisbane Olympics from early on, and by successfully arguing for sporting venues for council areas outside Brisbane City Council, like Redlands Coast. I have no doubt that her experience as the Mayor of Redland City, a city of Greater Brisbane, will assist with the efficient running of the Games and help to ensure that the benefits of the Games is shared across many Queensland regions. Can I also take a moment to invite the Labor members who have been quite political and critical about the Mayor to get on board the Olympics in a bipartisan way and support the Mayor and myself as we work to ensure the Redlands Coast gets the maximum possible benefit from the Greater Brisbane Olympics. The Brisbane 2032 Olympics story began in earnest in 2015 with Lord Mayor Graham Quirk and the Queensland Council of Mayors. The BCC unanimously resolved to investigate a regional Olympic and Paralympic Games with Brisbane at the centre of the bid. Former Mayor of Brisbane Graham Quirk, current Mayor Adrian Trina and the Council of Mayors are to be congratulated for initiating and driving the Brisbane Olympics bid, for going beyond a dream and for actioning the vision to ultimately deliver a successful 2032 Brisbane Olympics Games bid. Can I also congratulate the LNP federal government, led by Prime Minister Scott Morrison, for their involvement and for the substantial funding they are providing to the Games big-ticket infrastructure, among other items. And it would be remiss of me not to also acknowledge the role of the state government and their involvement. They too have come to the party, even after some early reluctance of people like former Deputy Premier Jackie Trad. Well, it is good today to see that the state government's early hesitancy, though, has changed so that now all three levels of government are cooperating together, which will be needed for a successful Games. In terms of delivery of infrastructure, I'm concerned about the risk that the current government poses to delivery of big-ticket transport infrastructure on time and on budget, as has been pointed out by others, and to the smooth running of events. The Cross River Rail project has now suffered Labor's budget blowouts and time delays. Queenslanders were told Cross River Rail would be operational by 2024. Now it will be 2025. The government said it would cost $5 billion plus. Now it's $7 billion and rising. Labor MPs made an election promise that by 2024 Cross River Rail would save 14 minutes to the city from the Redlands, and I tabled a document of an election of a trailer promising such from one of the Labor members. Without the Cleveland Line duplication, however, that Labor originally promised to deliver by 2025-26, those time savings are not possible. When put to the government, we hear nothing but crickets on this dilemma. At the time that Labor promised the Cleveland line duplication, some years ago, the estimated cost was in the order of $170 million. Now it will probably cost $300 million and upwards. Still, there's no plan for that. The government needs to confirm if they are going to honour their promise of the duplication of the Cleveland line. Regarding the Eastern Busway, I've raised this many times in the House, but the government refuses to give us a clear answer on cost and timelines. And there's much more that I have said in the past on that, and I won't reiterate all of that today for time. The government, sadly, in terms of Eastern Busway / Transitway, their record in this regard is quite poor. In the last term of 3 years, they promised 5 intersection upgrades along the Transitway that would occur, and actually delivered none, started on one. So that we see that record causes some concern. And there are many other comments I could make today, but just for time, it's so important that these big-ticket transport items be clearly planned and delivered. There are venues in the Redlands Coast area, like the Whitewater Centre for canoe slalom events that will happen. There's the already existing in Chandler at the Sleeman Centre, venues that can be used are to be used there. So all of that means the transport infrastructure is absolutely critical. Can I also make the point in closing that it's so important that work is fast-tracked on the hospital, because we'll have more people coming and visiting the Redlands. We need to have those emergency services upgraded, the hospital upgraded. We need the ICU as quickly as possible. We don't have a single ICU bed in all of the Redlands, 150,000 population. They've had 7 years to do it. We need faster progress on that. We've got a car park that's just started to be built, and I join Henry Pike and the 1,000 people have already signed our petition, calling on the government to make that parking free and not cut the current free parking. So I support the bill and look forward to hearing more about the plans and how we're going to deliver. The government's going to help deliver on those big-ticket infrastructure items.
Thank you. I call the Minister.